we can share this information with everybody.
Right. We are recording now. Thank you, Iris.
Awesome, perfect. Okay, so back again, this is a training for a service unit event coordinator. My name is Iris Manaboto. I'm the regional director for the West area of our council, and I will be talking about the event coordinator position for our service unit. First of all, I want to thank everybody for all the hard work that you guys do. Thank you so much for considering or already having committed to be the event coordinator for your service unit. I do see some familiar faces, so I'm so happy that you guys are able to join us. I know that Maria, before we started the meeting, actually asked everybody to type in the chat your first and last name, so that way we can have a roster of who participated here. And let me start by talking of our agenda for today. Today, we're actually going to cover the service unit team flow, so that way you guys know how you fit into your service unit team. We are also going to talk about the Girl Scout leadership experience, a little bit about the Girl Scout pillars. This is maybe something new for some of you, but we definitely need to talk about it because when you're planning events, this is a key component. The 4 pillars that we have, the STEM, life skills, outdoor, entrepreneurship. Then we're going to talk a little bit about your actual responsibilities as this event coordinator. A little bit about the resources and the President's Award that your service unit can actually earn by, you do have a part in the President's Award, so just be aware. So let me just go ahead and jump in and talk about the service unit team flow. How do you fit into the service unit team? This shows you the flow of the service unit. You have your manager, the person that's actually, you can consider it like a mini troop or an adult troop in a sense. Your manager is your troop leader. This is the person that is guiding everybody to the ultimate goal in the troop, to earn the badges, to participate in activities, to take action in the community. So your manager is pretty much going to be the one leading the entire service unit team. We have several components in the service unit. We have your treasurer, we have recruiters, we have registrars, we have some trainer mentors, we have your BTK champions. I'm excited for the new positions that we have in our service unit. We have the recognition champion, we have communications, we have fall product managers, and we have cookie positions as well. But if you see here in pink, my favorite color, you will also see the event coordinator position. You're a key element to the service unit team. Everybody has their part, and we're going to talk a little bit about your part. You should be communicating with your service unit manager. You should be communicating with the entire team to let them know what's going on. One of the things that you have to consider is product. For example, if something's going on, or if we are in the middle of cookie season, your events may not be successful. Your girls may not sign up for participating on events because they're so focused on their cookie goals. So those are things that you can talk about. Your registrar, you may want to be having communication with, okay, how many daisies we have? How many brownies do we have in our service unit? What is the trend? Who do we need to do events for? Because it's really easy to start thinking and brainstorming ideas, but we also have to look at the audience that we have. If your recruiter is actually planning an event to actually get more interest in the community and flyering the schools and bring them to your service unit event, that recruiter will need your help to put something together. As the expert for the service unit team, you are key there. So just consider a little bit of how you actually do tie into all the positions. Your treasurer will actually need a budget from you, and we'll cover all those details, and we'll cover a little bit of the resources that you have. But they want to know, they will ask you like, okay, what is your budget for your event? What are the different things that you're purchasing? I need to make sure that by the end you do reconcile everything and provide all the receipts for all the purchases that you did, information of how many girls registered. So you are tied with all of the positions. Your communications, another key one to get the information out to all the troops in your area. So you will be talking with all of them. You will have interactions with all of them. You are encouraged to participate in the service unit team meetings. You are encouraged to participate in the service unit meetings as well. That way you'll get an information. You'll hear the feedback from events that we're talking about. I do want to talk now about the Girl Scout leadership experience. Some of you may be familiar with this slide or part of it. It has been updated. Before we did have different outcomes in there, but I do want to talk about it because this is something that when we're planning events, we have to keep in mind. The Girl Scout leadership experience essentially is the whole experience, is the focus of the Girl Scout activities. They have to discover, connect, and take action. We also have the Girl Scout processes. We need to make sure that it's girl-led, that they're learning by doing, that it's cooperative learning as well. So those are things that when you're thinking about your events and what you should bring to your service unit or even the council, you think of things that the girls are going to discover something. They are going to be able to connect it to their personal life. Like, how does this affect me? And encourage them to take action on it. And it could be a program for that purpose, to take action. So when you're planning the program, you'll have to make sure to inform them of, say, for example, if you're planning an event to make pillows and beds for animals, you have to educate them on the fact of why we're doing this event. What's the reason behind it? So those are things that are really important to consider when you're planning an event. And then the overall idea is to get to those 5 outcomes, to have the girls feel that positive values, challenge seeking, healthy responsibilities, community problem solving, a strong sense of self. And we'll go a little bit into more detail on those in the next slide. But the overall goal is our mission. Girls lead with courage, confidence, and character to make the world a better place. That is the key. That is the purpose of this. I wanted to include this slide to go a little bit more of what it means. When we talk about the outcomes and we say positive values, what did that exactly mean? So this gives you a little bit of examples. Girls are going to act honestly, responsible, and show concern for others. That's positive values. Those are key things. How are you going to make sure that the girls are learning those? For example, their responsibility. Going back to the animal beds that we were talking about. Like, okay, how does it affect if you're adopting a dog or buying a dog? What is your responsibility? Are you sure that you want to have that commitment? Because it is a long commitment of at least 15 years or longer. So show the girls the responsibility there and show the girls like what happened when someone didn't have that responsibility with the animals and they're out in the streets and they end up in the shelters. And that's the reason why we're helping by making the beds to help the shelter. So you have to think a little bit more strategic on the planning, but you can also have those fun events, and we'll cover a little bit more of all the different types of events that we can have. But this gives you an example, and this presentation is going to be available. If you need these slides, make sure to email us at info@GSCSW so that way we can get you that information out. But this gives you a better understanding of when we talk about the 5 outcomes, like what does that mean? Now let's talk about the Girl Scout pillars: your STEM, your life skills, your outdoor, your entrepreneurship. And again, this is something simple, and we have a little bit of description. This slide was with the purpose to actually show you guys what it means when we talk about the pillars. What is life skills? Is your healthy living, your citizenship, your communication skills. What is outdoors? Having adventures outside, making sure that the experience that they're having outside matches their level, because we know that going hiking, depending on where you're going hiking, is going to be appropriate for daisies, or it's going to be more appropriate for cadets and up. So consider that when you're also planning your events. And of course, we have the STEM component. This year, I'm excited to say that we do have a STEM director in our council, that will be working with you guys if you need and you feel comfortable doing STEM programs. She will be able to help you. She will be able to guide you on the direction, provide you with supplies if you need. So she will be an expert on helping you navigate. Because personally, for example, talking about myself, I'm not an expert in STEM. I could read, but it still takes a little bit of, I need someone to show me how to do it to feel comfortable delivering it to the girls. So this is another example of the different things when we're talking about the 4 pillars that we want to make sure that our girls have the opportunity to experience for them to be successful leaders in the future. Event coordinator responsibilities. And at this point, let me actually pull here. Okay, let me check the chat to see if we have any questions. Okay, we're good. Your responsibilities in this position. I have been talking about the pillars. I have been talking about the outcomes. Don't feel stressed. Don't feel overwhelmed. It is just information to help you provide quality, better program to our girls. So let's talk about a little bit about what actual responsibilities you have. You're going to work with your service unit team, and that's one of the first things that we covered here. Make sure that the communication is there, make sure that you're participating and involved with your service unit team, because you are part of a team. The team needs to know what you're working on, so that way they can plan accordingly and work. Next point is actually planning and implementing service unit events. That is going to be key. When we talk about service unit events, we do have a difference between an event and a program. And you'll hear sometimes those two words come and go when we talk about the event planners, the event coordinators, our council's program staff, or our council programs, our council events. You'll hear it come and go. To give you a little bit of clarification of what's the difference between planning an event and a program, is pretty much the information that I just delivered to you guys. A program will be something that it's linked to the 4 pillars, our badges, our journeys. It's more, the girls are learning something. They're developing skills. They're essentially walking out of that program with better outcomes, with better confidence that they're learning something. You can think about it as learning something. When we're talking about events, those are going to be your fun activities. Those are going to be father-daughter dance. Those are going to be mother-daughter tea parties. Those are going to be manicures. Those are going to be all those fun things that the girls not necessarily are learning something out of it. But it's more for the fun. For another example that a lot of you, at least on the West region, know about, and it's coming to the Central region and the East, is on the West we do a corn maze event. That pretty much is considered an event because it's just for the fun. There is no structure learning in there. There's no curriculum. That's you go with your troop or you go with your family. And just have fun. That doesn't mean that the girls cannot learn something. That doesn't mean that there's not badges that they could be working on skills there at the event. That just means that it's not structured to have more learning in it. So this gives you a little bit of the example of when we talk about events and when we talk about programs. Another of your responsibilities is actually to recruit volunteers to assist in events, planning and the delivery of the events. And of course, if you're welcome to share them with our council, we're always looking for our volunteers to help us with the council-wide events. But at the service unit level, talk to your troop leaders, find out who's good at what. A lot of the times you will see that in the troop leaders or even in the parents in the troop, You have someone that is great with biology. You can ask them to help you with a STEM program. Ask them, like, what is your expertise? I heard that you're working at a lab. Is there something that you can teach the girls? A lot of the times we do have those resources. It's just a matter of us approaching them and actually asking them, will you be able to put a program together on it? If you know someone that works at a bank, will you be able during before cookie season or before fall product, show our girls how to handle money, and make it one of the skills? Those are things that look for those helpers out there. And like we have here, if you feel comfortable or if they feel comfortable, share them with the council. We do have a lot of people that like planning events. And just think about it, when you go to in your troop, if you know that someone does like great birthday parties and they're always waiting for their kids to have another birthday so they can help and plan and they do awesome, ask them, hey, have you ever thought about helping us with service unit event, a troop event? You're going to have to develop and maintain event budgets. That means, and we'll cover a little bit in the resources, we do have a great tool for you guys to make sure you don't miss anything in your budget. But if I were to have to explain it simpler, it's just making sure that you are covering what your expenses are going to be. So if you know that for a program, you have to buy the girls the badge because you want them to walk out with the badge, you have to put it in your budget. If you know that you're going to have a spokesperson and you want to give them a thank you card signed by the girls, but you're actually going to buy one of those big ones that they sell normally I see them during like Valentine's Day. If you know that you're going to have to buy that, put it in your budget. If you know that the supplies that you have are not going to be enough, that you need to get more crayons, that you need to get more food, all of those items that you're going to be spending money on to be able to do the program, you have to put them in your budget. If you're going to make copies, for example, and you're going to pay for copies for a coloring page that the girls are going to do or something that they need to cut and paste, all those items, make sure that you're putting in your budget. But it's not just a matter of putting it in your budget. You have to make sure that you stay in your budget. If you say that you were going to spend $20 on the thank you card for the collaborator that you have to make sure that you only spend that amount. It has to match, and we'll go a little bit more over it when we go to the resources, but you have to make sure that you stay in those guidelines. Submit evaluations and budget for the event after it's being executed. And the evaluations, we do have in council samples that we're happy to share with you guys. Just like I said, shoot us an email to info@gscsw, so that way we can get you a sample evaluation. And those are for the purpose to make sure that the girls are learning something, to make sure that the girls did have fun. We do have the questions that tie to the 5 outcomes that we want to aim for with the Girl Scout leadership experience, but we also have questions at the end asking, did you enjoy it? Was there something that you did not like? How can we make it better? Any additional comments? And this is just for the purpose to make sure that you're getting that feedback, that you know how to prepare better for next time. A great example that I have for you on those notes, Daisy Day that we do in El Paso and Las Cruces. When we did, like, I have done it twice, and one year I did evaluations. You may and prepare. Sometimes you don't get the feedback, or it's more negative and things that you could have done better. But like I just said, take it as things we can do better. Things that we may not think about in the moment that now we know, yes, you know what, people did notice that this was missing. So maybe next time. And then when you do the event again, you'll see the difference if you address the things that were brought up. Of course, some of the times you will get feedback that it's out of your control. For example, this last year, when I did Daisy Day, I had several food trucks lined up for participating during the event. Out of my control was that one of the food trucks the night before broke down and they couldn't get it running, so they couldn't make it to the event. Another one just forgot that they committed to participate. So I was short too. And our volunteers noticed, and it was part of the evaluations, that they didn't have a lot of options. On those, don't take it personally. It's just, you know what, it is so those are things out of your control. Another one that I got is like, it was too hot. That is also out of our control because we were outside. It's nature. We could aim to do the program earlier to try to avoid the sun. But you have to balance, and you have to look at that feedback to the point of, if I move it earlier, would it be too early also? So just be conscious of, a lot of the times the feedback that you're getting is not going to be something that you were expecting. But overall, the girls always have fun. Another thing too that's part of your responsibility is to make sure that you're informed about and comply and support the most current policies, procedures, and guidelines that our council and GSUSA has. We have to make sure that we abide by them because of safety reasons. Just to be sure that we're doing everything to the part, just to be sure that our girls are safe, so we don't have those issues. And then, of course, make sure that you're sharing your council events with all your troops and your parents. A lot of the times we think that we are providing the information and we share it with our service unit team. We need to make sure to follow up with communications and ask them, hey, did you send it to the leaders? Did you ask the troop leaders to share it with their parents? Because we do see sometimes that our leaders cannot make the event and the communication stops there. So we need to make sure to reinforce on our communication when it's going out, that share it with your parents. As a troop, you may not be able to do it, but maybe some of the parents do want to participate. So just put it out there. When planning a program as well, you have to make sure to look at our council calendar. Our key date calendar will be ready by volunteer conference. But the reason that we want you to check with our council calendar is just to make sure that we don't have anything else that would conflict with it. Like I mentioned, the best thing is, and I believe that everybody in this call is actually seasoned on Girl Scouts, so may know that during cookie season, we do not schedule programs because you will not have the attendance because the girls' focus is in cookies. During summer, it's up to your service unit. We do encourage all our girls to participate in resident camp and summer camp. So you will be more familiar, and that is something that you can talk with your registrar and your team and ask, like, hey, what's the trend with our troops? Would it be beneficial for us to have summer programs, to have summer events? Or are most of our troops out on vacation and they're just taking a break until we get started? That is key communication. Also with your recruiters, if they are planning on doing recruitments and troops are barely forming, you may want to have one or two event programs that they can participate in to get them excited until the new Girl Scout year starts. So that is important for you to be aware of what's going on in the council. Get your troops to help out. That is key. Making sure that they are helping you. They could host the events for you, or they can just help out. Have a troop lead it, have a troop help. If you have troops of older girls, I would encourage you to talk to them and figure out if they're willing to be more hands-on with the event planning side of it, because they'll be learning a lot of skills. They can help you with simply like, okay, girls, this is what we want to do. For example, going back to my animals, making beds for animals, talk to the girls, give them the idea, ask them, can you girls start working on a budget? Have it be girl-led 100%. the girls will start brainstorming, okay, what do we need to make the bed? She had this idea. Do we have scissors? Between all of them, and they will pretty much be able to take over that part of it. Once they're done, they'll run it through you. You'll look at the budget. If you feel comfortable, take it to the team. If not, talk to the girls. Hey, girls, you were missing this. Hey, girls, we need to fluff those beds, so we need to get some fabric for that. So have those conversations as well with your troops, and figure out if you have troops that would want to help. When we talk about hosting events, your troops could host an event. They'll have to work with you closely to make sure that you provide this information to them, to make sure that they have a budget, to make sure that they stay in their budget, to make sure that they check the calendar, to make sure that if the activity that they're planning complies with our policies and procedures. You'll be their support, and they can help. For example, in Las Cruces, we do have a rotation of mystery dinner. And that is an event that the girls come up with the idea of what they want to do. It's totally girl-led. The leaders pretty much support them on their ideas and run with it, and talk with the event coordinator there and make sure she's aware and she guides them, and they can put it on the calendar for the service unit and start that communication going. When you're passing out information of the service unit events, make sure to include the council events. That will help you. That will show the girls that we do have things going on as service unit. We also have things going on in the council. That will show them all the opportunities of different things that the girls can participate. So that way we can make sure. Like I mentioned before, keep an eye on making sure you're providing program events for all the levels of the girls, so nobody feels left out. Don't focus on just doing Daisy level, because then all your other levels are going to feel left out. So be aware of those things. Talk with your registrar and figure out what we need to focus on. Oh, sorry. My allergies are kicking in. Those are a little bit of your responsibilities. You have the council support. We do have people on our staff that will be able to guide you if you have any questions while planning, if you have concerns. Make sure to communicate with us. Make sure to let us know if you need our support. Like I mentioned before, info@GSCSW, and we'll get someone working with you and helping and clarifying questions. We'll have an opportunity for questions right now, and feel free if at any point you want to chat in a question, just type it in. I'm keeping track, so that way we can make sure to address them in the moment. Our resources. You should be checking your safety activity checkpoints when you're planning programs. You should be checking your volunteer policies as well. These are some of the resources. We have emergency procedures that just got updated. Make sure to have the most recent copy. All of this information is available on our website. On our website, you also have a section for our volunteers where you can find the resources, where we talk about the Girl Scout leadership experience. We have everything provided there for you guys to get that additional support and help if you were to need it, and or just want to browse and get ideas. Sometimes looking through the safety activity checkpoints may give you ideas of things that you can do as events. So be aware of those. This is the best resource ever, in my opinion, when it comes to planning events. The Volunteer Services Department, Monica Hassel, did this amazing, colorful, because I love all the colors, event planning guide. It has everything that you need to put on a program. You have even from starting from an idea, you have a sample budget in there, so that way you can make sure that you stay in budget and things that you may be forgetting. For example, if you see in this picture, she also has a line for supplies for first aid. Make sure to have a first aid kit in all your programs. If you're doing decorations, if you need equipment like portable potties, If you're getting t-shirts, badges, or patches, if you're going to serve food, if you have a facility rental fees, if you're doing something big at a park, you may have a fee there. And other things like thank you gifts as well, printing and additional insurance if it's going to be a family event. So you have that simple budget to guide you through the process. You have safety section as well. This covers all from racials, making sure that you have your first aid, health history if you need it. If in your registration, make sure that you're asking for allergies if you're going to feed the girls. You also have an event planning checklist. This is amazing because this will make sure that you cover everything before you put your program out there. I know for a fact that your service unit manager will love you if you actually go through your checklist, make sure that when you're presenting, you have everything covered. That will make it so much easier for everybody to be able to get on board with the program that you're planning. In this packet, you also have a sample of the evaluation form that I was talking about. You also have what to do once it's actually over. Key things to mention in this packet, you also have if you're going to be working with collaborators. This means if you're working with another organization, if you're working with a business or another type of entity, you must get permission from the council. It's not because we don't want you working with them. It's more to just make sure that we're not planning something with them, that we're not working with them in another capacity that could interfere if you start planning an event with them. Again, you can just shoot an email to info, let them know, hey, I'm thinking of doing this fencing program with this organization. If you're interested, make sure, like, if it's something that I can do, just let me know because I want to move on it. So that way we can get you that approval as fast as we can. And you can start your planning and you can finalize all the details. When it comes to advertising your flyers, in this packet we also cover that you have to make sure to communicate with our communications department. They will be able to provide you a sample of the flyer so you can update the information. They will make sure that all your artwork is actually artwork that we can advertise. Because sometimes if you're planning a camping or an outdoor hike, there's this beautiful image of Snoopy hiking dressed as a scout with like the little yellow birds behind him, and it's like the most adorable thing, and I even would be encouraged to put it on my flyers. But we have to remove him because it's a trademark. So make sure to communicate with our communications department. You again can send an email to info, attach your flyer to that email and ask them, hey, can you oversee my flyer? I want to make sure that it's ready for us to advertise it. If you want to advertise it council-wide, make sure to include that note there so our communications department knows that she has to put it out there on our website and updates. If it's just going to be a service unit event and you're not going to open it, you still want to run it through our communications department because you are going to be locally advertising and it's going to go out. So we have to make sure that we're complying with that. I have a couple of questions. Yes, this packet and the images that you're seeing is available on our website. So Sarah, you can go into our website. You can actually type in the search or look under forms for the event planning guide, and it's right there. So it is available for everybody to start using it. Oh, and I saw that even in this chat, everybody can actually click on the link in there, and it will take you straightly to this planning packet. It's a great resource. It has everything that you need to make sure to check. Another important note that if your event is going to be a fundraising event, you need to make sure to get approval from the council as well. And there is a form, the money earning request form, that you'll have to submit. We do encourage you to submit the form before you actually contact the collaborator or whoever, or like if you're going to work with someone, you need to make sure to turn in the form first to make sure that our fund development department is not approaching them for something else. If it's just going to be something for your service units or the troops, the same thing, try to have all the information so you get it approved first. But this is a great resource for everybody. I love this booklet. I love event planning, so for me this covers everything. It gives you even ideas of events like ice cream social, fishing, sports day, earning a badge day, journeys, all this wonderful, and it even has themes for the events. You have a event timeline where it shows you like what do you have to do months in advance, when it comes a week before, a day before, even the day of. So yeah, make sure to take a look at it. It's a great resource for you guys. I would encourage you guys to have a sample for yourself. Maybe not print it every single time that you're doing an event, but look through it and figure out what would work better for you. Then now I want to talk about the President's Award, and we're almost done here today. The President Award is an award that the service units can earn, and you have several requirements in there. Why are we talking in this presentation about the President Award? It's because you do have a section as an event planner. You do contribute to your service unit being able to earn this award. And it's a mandatory requirement, and I'm showing you the page, what it actually says. Your number 5 girl program. Service unit sponsors 1 or more events, which meet with at least 3 of the national outcomes. So during this presentation, we covered the outcomes. We covered the different types of events. We never talked about how many we would encourage you guys to do. But if I were to throw out a suggestion to you, I would consider having 4 events. Why do I say 4? I say 4 because if you plan an event at the start of the school year, you will actually gonna get your recruiter really happy because the girls that are just coming in will be able to participate right away in an activity. A lot of you guys, normally a lot of the service unit do already a father-daughter dance and a mother-daughter activity event program. So those are 2. So it's just a matter of coming up with 2 more. When we're talking about, for example, that meet the 3 outcomes, your mother-daughter may not necessarily fill that, but if you're able to have some sort of activity with mother-daughter that the girls are gonna walk out feeling more confident, and let me go back to our outcomes. If they feel those positive values, or if they feel stronger, or they're seeking the challenge, say for example, if you want to do mother-daughter zip lining, I don't know if anywhere in our council, and I don't know if the activity checkpoints will actually approve that, so this is just me brainstorming, but that may be a challenge for a lot of them, you know, so that is something that would cover the challenge seeking, and learn as well. Like I remember, and I'm gonna go a little bit out here, but I did zip lining. I had 3 other people with me doing the zip lining. One of them wanting to record the experience on their phone. But the only problem with that was that person was holding the phone on his hand, not grabbing with both hands the zip line. So of course the experience felt a little bit different because with one hand you're trying to hold on to the rope that it's throwing you down, but on the other you're trying to hold on to a phone. So that experience wasn't the greatest. So I would say that person actually learned on the outcome of challenge seeking because they learned from their mistakes. Maybe next time get a GoPro on your head so that way you can grab on tighter and the camera still records everything. A mother-daughter event, going back to a mother-daughter event, that could be also healthy relationships. To maintain that communication with your moms. As our girls get older, some of them start shying away or don't tell mom everything that they used to. So that is a great opportunity for them to continue to have that healthy relationship because they're doing fun things together. This could also apply to your father-daughter. I know that our council has a lot of military, so this could help them maintain a healthy relationship in the family. So just think a little bit about the different ways that the outcomes are going to be there. And this will help you is as simple as filling out the description of the event, what the girls actually did, and what are the 3 outcomes that they met. With this, I would gladly say that you have provided your part with making sure that your service unit team covers one of the mandatory requirements to earn the President's Award. Now I will actually go to questions. If anybody feels that they have any questions, it could be in the chat part of this presentation, or you can just unmute yourself and jump on and ask the question. Oh, wow. And I just noticed that we have a lot more people in this. I'm like so excited. Hi, welcome. Well, almost thank you for coming, but welcome for being here. To everybody that joined in. Make sure that the ones that joined in late type in their name and their first name and their last name in the chat, so that way I can account that you attended. Some of you may understand that this is the way that I track my roster because I am a council trainer. So I want to make sure to track my roster for my trainer buds.
Hi, Iris. This is Maria Landry. I have a question from Yolanda. She said on the previous page there was a screen that had some asterisks. It says service unit sponsors 1 or more events which meet at least 3 of the national outcomes, and then it has asterisks. Are those asterisks just for the national outcomes?
Actually, I would encourage everybody to go to our website and get the actual packet to get more of the details. As you can see, I actually cut that page. It has more under it that I'm sure will cover those asterisks. I just.
Okay, so that can be found in the President's Award application packet on our website, correct?
Yes. Yes. Correct.
Thank you. I don't see any questions yet. I wanted to give an update, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
Nice to see your face. Hi.
Hi, everybody. I'm like, I never remember to show my face, so I'm like, hey.
We all like to see your office. It's really cool. Okay, so some updates from Monica. We will be sending out a link to everyone who participated and all service unit managers with a link to our website. So on our website is where we're going to have all of the recordings for every single training that we've had yesterday, today, tomorrow, and Thursday. So for all of the summit recordings, as well as we'll have each PowerPoint presentation that went along with those trainings. We're going to have eventually, within a week, the service unit planning packet will be available in that same link. The President's Award will also be available on that same page on our website, as well as position descriptions for all of the service unit positions that we're going to be going over this week. So that will be fully updated within a week. But all of the recordings for the webinars will be on that link and it'll be updated the day after the training happens, basically. Does that make sense to you guys? Give me a little nod or a thumbs up or an okay in the chat log if that makes sense. Or if you have questions, please raise your hand or post it in the chat log. Very good, good. Okay, so the service unit planning packet will not be ready in just a couple of days, but that should be up on the website within a week for you all to access and have and start looking over and talking about what you'd like to do. Awesome, very good. Okay, so now we can continue with questions for Iris. Thank you, Iris. That was a really awesome presentation.
Thank you. So I hope that everybody is putting in their names or giving me some sort of feedback in the chat to make sure that I have you counted. And I will give a couple of minutes for questions. With this roster, by you putting in as well your name, I will make sure that by tomorrow, sometime tomorrow, I will actually email you an evaluation form for this training. So that way you can give us our feedback, the same thing that we're doing with our events at the end, asking for some feedback to figure out how we can make it better. I am going to be doing exactly the same thing with you guys. I want to get your feedback of things that we can do better, of things that you liked, and how we can improve this training for everybody.
Iris, also one thing that I forgot to mention was that the evaluation for all participants for the entire Service Unit Summit will be emailed out at the end of the week.
Oh, there we go. So Monica's taking care of it.
That you'd like to use, that's great. We will also have one for the entire Service Unit Summit. So if you have questions or comments or concerns or anything that you would have liked to have seen, make sure to write it down. You can share it with us now, or you can wait until the evaluation comes out, and please let us know on the evaluation. I have a couple of questions.
Yeah, I'm starting to see that. I see Ann Rose is asking about the event calendar for 2019 and 2020 available yet. I'm not sure if you're talking about the key calendar. The key calendar will be available by volunteer conference the first weekend in September. So keep an eye out after that for it. So I'm hoping that's what you're talking about. I have, okay, awesome, perfect. How do they get training cards for this training? Oh,
I got from Monica that they can come down to council to have it signed, or they can also sign it themselves, because the training card is really just a record for the volunteer to keep track of the trainings that they've had. It does not require a council staff person signature. If they like it, you can come find me in El Paso or find your local staff person, but truly it's just for your record, and you don't need a staff person to sign off on it. Any other questions?
Okay, I'm double checking here. Jasmine, thank you. I heard that we answered your question already. Okay, so going back to my presentation, the only thing left to say is thank you so much. I hope that you consider, if you haven't committed yet to being the event coordinator for your service unit, think about it. If you have any additional questions, or if you want to brainstorm and ask questions offline and everything, we're available here for you. I feel comfortable if you want to email info and have them direct the question to me, just put attention Iris, and that will go straight to me, so that way I can help you answer any additional questions that you have on planning. If you feel comfortable working with us or want to do a round test of an event, we definitely will appreciate if you can help us with some of the events, and we can guide you and we can work through it with you, and then have you ready for the Girl Scout year and working and doing more events for your service unit.
I'm excited to see all of the events that are going to come out of this.
Yeah, we have a lot of people in this training, and I'm so excited for it. So I want to hear from everybody. Send me your questions. We're here to help. anything that we can do to make it easier on you guys, we're more than welcome. And I think with that, we can say thank you so much for joining us tonight, and have a great night.
Bye, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
We'll see you tomorrow, hopefully.